Hello YouTubers, welcome back to another Tesla vlog with me, Adam Well Informed. So I've had my first electric car, a Tesla Model 3, for 9 months now. I picked up my Tesla Model 3 2021 build from Birmingham in the UK in around December 2020. I was really lucky because when I finally came around to pulling the trigger, the 2021 refreshed Model 3 was announced and the UK got its first dose of the refreshed Model 3s in December 2020. These turned out to be the last Standard Range Plus Model 3s to be built in Fremont, USA, that were then subsequently shipped to the UK. SR Plus Model 3s then after that started to come from China, with the only major benefit being that the US build has the slightly higher energy dense NCA batteries compared to the LFP battery chemistry of the made in China Model 3s. If you follow Tesla news like I do, you may have seen the LFP batteries are now being installed into the Fremont-made SR Plus Model 3s. The range of both variants are almost identical. If you're thinking of purchasing a SR Plus, I think it's probably fair to say that there is no significant advantage to one or the other. Yes, LFP batteries are less energy dense, therefore require more cells to get a similar range, which means a heavier Model 3. However, charging to 100% is more forgiving with the LFP battery than the NCA battery, with longevity tipped to be a LFP advantage. So there are differences, but if I was given the chance to pick one or the other, which one would I choose? Honest answer, I couldn't care less. There's no need to overthink it. As an everyday driver, most people wouldn't even know the difference between the two when driving it, and that's why Tesla hasn't really made a big deal out of it. Anyway, enough about that. I want to discuss my ownership of my Tesla Model 3 after being 9 months in. I've experienced winter, summer driving, but does that make a difference on the range? What running costs, including maintenance, have there been? What's it like driving an electric car? And do I have any regrets? Have I had any issues with my Model 3 recently? These are just some of the questions that I want to cover in this week's video. After watching the video, if you want to go back to a certain segment of the video, don't forget I chopped the video into little segments so you can easily navigate back to that part. Let's go. So starting with the running costs and maintenance. Well, this is sort of awkward because I've not had to pay for any maintenance yet, apart from screen wash. In all fairness, you wouldn't expect to pay for maintenance though for a petrol or gas car until you hit that 12-month mark. So in 3 months' time, a comparative petrol or gas car will be back at the dealership, costing a few £100 or dollars in the process. My car won't even need to go to the dealership for a service. In fact, it will need 0 annual servicing checks by Tesla because it's a well-designed electric car. Let me explain that point. It is well documented electric cars have less moving parts. Traditional petrol cars have hundreds, even thousands at times, of moving parts that generate excess heat and friction, which then causes wear and eventually needs replacing or you risk breaking down. Take a look at this AA article. Here it stipulates that some ICE engines can have up to 2,000 moving parts and electric motors can have as little as 20 parts or less. That's a 100x difference in moving parts, if my maths is correct. It's not just the engine where servicing gains are made. The brakes really do take a significantly less hit against a combustion car brake setup. With regenerative braking, the electric motor can slow the car but also recuperate some of that lost energy, which would then be lost during conventional braking. It's likely that the Tesla Model 3 will need new brakes around 100,000 miles, if that. One pedal driving under a Tesla feels so natural and comfortable, it's hard to switch back from a powerful regen braking system. I very recently had a courtesy car from Tesla, being an old Model S. I even did a comparison video on that last week if you haven't already seen it. The regen strength between them both was definitely noticeable between the two, as the Model 3's regen is quite aggressive but yet substantial enough to be relied upon to stop in most situations. I do try use the conventional brake from time to time, especially when I need to stop urgently, but also to ensure it doesn't lock up the brakes or create any glazing due to lack of usage. So to summarise, electric cars need less annual maintenance than a nice car. However, conventional manufacturers generally still insist on your annual service for an EV, despite the checks being substantially less. I think this falls down to 2 reasons. First reason is the conventional manufacturers make good money and a good return off recurring services and fixes. The second part is how well designed the vehicles are. Those that have watched The Cool but Grouchy Old Man Sandy Munro on YouTube will know when Sandy and a team start to strip the cars, he constantly wants to get rid of waste and weight in the design process, whether that can be extra long AC tubes or merging parts that don't need to be separated. Therefore, the Tesla design seems to be leaner and sleeker than its rivals on many fronts, in which Tesla was confident enough to drop the annual servicing requirements. They did replace this with a maintenance schedule, for which a vast majority could be done at home or at a local tyre store. This includes tyre rotations, cabin filter replacements, and brake fluid drain. If you want Tesla to do this, you just pick your address, hit the service button on the Tesla app, and it's done. Another benefit of being electric and not having all the parts of an ICE engine means I don't have to be worried about a thief trying to rob my non-existent catalytic converter. They can try, but they'll probably just be disappointed when they pop the boots and find a frunk. Good times. So what is it like driving an electric car over an ICE car? To me, it's weirdly satisfying, but yet feels so right. I went for a run the other day, as in the thing that's like walking but faster, which isn't like me, but one must make an attempt to at least stay healthy. And just running near idle or driving petrol or diesel cars whilst gasping heavily for air just felt disgusting. At the moment, I will admit having an electric car has spoilt me for more reasons than one, but just being around the fumes when you need oxygen, you do notice a big difference in your surrounding air quality. I'm lucky that I have healthy lungs and I probably need to lose a bit of weight, but there will be some people or individuals that struggle with breathing at present. Moving to electric cars will save lives as more people will transition away from polluting cars. We all saw the images of the smog reduction during the stay-at-home orders last year, so not only is there a physical benefit, there's also a visual benefit of switching to a zero-emission vehicle. Another part I thoroughly enjoy is the cost savings. Every time I drive by my local Tesco petrol station, the price of fuel has just continued to rise. I've noticed the difference between the price of fuel when I got the car to the fuel prices now is probably over 10%. And actually checking the AA reports online, they state an average of £1.15 per litre in December 2020, and now it's £1.35p per litre. That's almost a 20% increase in a year. That is roughly £10 or $14 more to refill each time, so potentially a £20 or $27 difference to what I usually pay before I switched. That's a big change in just 9 months. In this alternative universe, my electric driving costs haven't changed. I'm on the super awesome Octopus Go tariff. Switching to this tariff made the charging cost drop to more than a third of what I usually paid for electricity, and that's during off-peak hours. No way can you get a comparative deal for petrol. So to get the same amount of miles from petrol or gas, that would now cost £120 or £130, which is like $166 or $180 worth of fuel. Now that costs me just £10 or £12 or $13, $16. And that figure can be even less if I supercharge because I have free referral miles, and you can too if you use a referral link to purchase a Tesla. But I hardly need to supercharge myself. For me, the biggest difference and where I charge 95% of the time is from home. So if you're in the process of ordering a Tesla or have just received your Tesla, take a look at your electric charging and compare what's on the market, because it can make a big difference to your charging costs. If you had a look at my tariff, I've also put a referral link to Octopus in the video description, and we can share £100 between us if you join Octopus through my link. So in a way, that's free go-go juice if you do switch using my link. Other notable additions that I like about driving electric, apart from air quality and the cost, include instant acceleration. That can be fun and productive when you need it, and just how easy it is to drive. Even comparing driving the Model 3 to the Model S recently, I noticed I was having to work harder with the Model S, mostly down to the different driving modes being activated, but compared to petrol and gas, this is honestly way easier and more satisfying to drive. I literally just shift it into drive and steer. Power is there when I need it, the regen slows me down fully most of the time, so I rarely need to use the conventional brakes, and now I never need to change gears to get more performance when I need it. Makes you wonder why driving was more intense before when it could be as easy as this. Just a quick reminder, please remember to support my channel, hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Just a quick gesture really helps me out if you enjoy Tesla content like this. When it comes to driving efficiency in the summer and winter, this can be very interesting. With the refreshed 2021 Model 3 came the Octovalve, which was also known as the heat pump. The sole purpose of the addition of the heat pump was to make the car more efficient during cold conditions. If I was to do a direct comparison, my efficiency figures were completely different in the winter compared to the summer. Roughly staying in the 200s watt-hour miles in the winter was pretty common. I even uploaded a short video on how the car performed in snowy conditions if that's of interest to you, but this doesn't really cover much on efficiency but mainly drivability. Based on my current experience, the car does much prefer the warmer days rather than the wintry cold ones. For example, I recently got efficiency figures of 199 watt-hour miles and roughly 180 watt-hour miles for mostly motorway driving. The 199 figure was more representable and would be equivalent to around 250 miles of range. But this is amazing for like 85% motorway highway driving. Official rated range is like 263 miles, but this usually includes a good chunk of city driving, where lower efficiency figures are much easier to obtain. It requires less power to drive around the city than driving down the motorway/highway. I could easily get 160 watt-hour miles just to pop into the shop in relatively warm weather like 18 degrees. Here's something that you might not know. Did you know that on a hot day, if your climate temperature is set lower than the cabin temperature actually is at the time, rather than the car dumping that excess heat externally, the car will actually filter and force that excess heat difference to the battery to maintain an optimum temperature. This may be partly why summer driving is factually more efficient, as winter driving could include manual warm-up to the cabin and then the battery, so it works harder in a way. Still, this is great engineering by Tesla, and this is the sort of stuff that makes Stanley Munro very happy when he talks about car design and how they're ahead of the competition on certain parts of the car. As we head into winter 2021, I'm interested to see if the free software updates over the summer have made the heat pump even more efficient. Towards the end of the last winter, changes were made late on, and it makes a big difference because I had more regen braking available on colder days thanks to a simple efficiency software update. So efficiency performance can literally get better overnight. So let's monitor to see if Tesla has pulled anything more out of the bag and found further optimization as the weather starts to turn again. So moving on to an issue that I have with my car at the moment. When I took it to the service centre for its recall the other week, they actually asked if I had another issue that I wanted to resolve, and which was quite nice of them, but strangely an issue had just occurred just prior to the scheduled appointment. So the electronic boot or tailgate struggles to open on first attempt. It unlocks, then refuses to budge as if there's an obstruction. If I give it a helping hand, it will open and close on its own. But then it would then continue to operate as you'd expect it would be if I just kept pressing the button. Which is a little weird for me, as it's as if something is sticking on the motor side of the strut when I use it that first time. Anyway, I put it forward to service and they claim to have realigned it, which fixed it, but the problem still remains actually. I've tried a little white lithium WD-40 spray around the joints just to help loosen the stickiness, which has helped a little, so maybe it just needs a little bit more coverage. I'll keep you posted on this one. Worst case scenario, I'll put a ticket in via the app and Tesla comes to my house to take a look. Regrets. Do I have any? No, not really. I'm not just saying that either, as I think if I did have something negative to say, it would probably have a lot more clout from a clickbait perspective and I'd probably get a lot more views, but literally, I don't have any major regrets that would prevent me from buying a new one again. There are some smaller issues that do annoy me, but when you cover collectively how easy it is to get more stuff wrong, it could be a lot worse. So these areas give Tesla room to improve, but there's always margin to improve on. No manufacturer is perfect, but the proposition of a Tesla Model 3 or the Tesla Model Y are just too good to resist at the moment, especially if they do indeed crack that full self-driving vision. That could be a life changer to the masses, and that's not just for owners of electric vehicles either. When I do my 1 year review, I will definitely list my room for improvements by Tesla. Conclusions. So to wrap this up, am I annoyed by my latest issue? Yes, any niggle is annoying, but it's hardly breaking news. Either a little bit more lubricant spray will fix it, or Tesla will fix it. Meanwhile, everything else functions as intended and it won't cost me more to fix. It will get sorted and fixed nonetheless. Do I still love driving this machine? Absolutely. I still enjoy it. I love sharing my new experiences, whether that's longer drives or new additions, accessories to the car. Being an owner of an electric vehicle, I really enjoy sharing these experiences with you and hope that you can join me in the transition, because not only will you enjoy it too, but you will also be improving air quality, not just for you and your family, but also unfit people like me that attempt to run around and gasp for clean air and regrettably get a mouthful of dirty dinosaur remains. That's it for me. No more bad jokes from me. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.